time of how I got suspended in year 9. Okay, for some context, I have literally never got a detention in my life, so the fact I got suspended is just diabolical. Mom is just gonna be like, why did you post this? But honestly, I'm doing it because it was embarrassing, and I just want to warn everybody in the future, like, don't do what I did. Don't be stupid, babes. Let's get into it. I was in year 9 in, I think, 2022. During that time period on TikTok, the most popular thing to do was have like these school accounts. Guys, I don't even know why I thought this was a good idea. Oh, stupid year 9 Alyssa went, you know what, I want in on this. I want in on this. I decided, because I was in my editing era, like I had editing TikTok accounts, whatever. I was like, you know what, let's make one about my secondary school. Just for some context about the first post, I had like this teacher try to get into my toilet. It's a long story. It was a Nicki Minaj meme, and it was like her in a candy shop, and she was like, do not catch chicken balls, why are they there then? Okay, yeah, I used that. Stupidly, I had put the teacher's face on the video and put his name, and when he tries to get into the girls' bathroom, he was like, why are they there then? And much to year 9 Alyssa's excitement, it went viral. People on Snap had started posting the account on their stories, just basically asking like, who would do this? In year 9, like I wasn't a loudmouth, I was just like a quiet kid, like I was nice, you know? So why would anybody suspect it was me? So I kept posting, and it literally kept getting more and more viral. So Alyssa thought to herself, oh, you know what, teachers aren't enough, let's involve students. So I obviously post about people in my year. It got to the point where like people were DMing like the TikTok account, like, hey, can you do this pose? And I did it. And then the speculation started, but they weren't speculating about me. It was somebody else. I was friends with this girl, and then she started to bully me in like year 10 and year 11. I'll do a story time on that. And everybody just kept saying it was her, and I just felt bad. Like I didn't want to get her in trouble. So what does Alyssa do? She posts her face on the account. I posted my face on that account. I did a little lip sync thing, like face reveal. And then obviously everybody was DMing me about it. And then I just started making edits of people rather than like doing memes. So the day after Easter break rolls around. Obviously there's like the buzz around school like, oh my god, did you see Alyssa did this? By the way, my parents don't know about like I did this. And then I noticed like during my lessons, like people being pulled out by teachers, and these are the people I had edited. I was so cooked! A TA came up to me, she was like, Alyssa, they know you need to delete the account. So me and my best friend at the time like went to the toilets, I deleted the account. What an idiot. Then my time obviously came. Period 6, I was obviously pulled out of class and questioned, and obviously I admitted to the account. And then my head teacher was like, oh, we're gonna have to suspend you. Sat crying in the office like, please don't tell my parents, please don't tell my parents. Like I was bawling my eyes out because obviously I had let down my parents. But obviously they called my parents. They were obviously both so disappointed in me. The school suspended me for 6 days. And by the way, I didn't have my phone for 2 months after that. But like obviously, why would I have my phone after doing that? And that was my lesson, like well learned. And that is the most embarrassing thing like ever, because that's on my record like permanently. So that was my story and how I got suspended in year 9. I'm obviously embarrassed by it, like I'll never do that in my life again. Okay, love you.
My husband's female best friend of 10 years openly decided to admit that she has feelings for my husband, my man. Look, I always kind of had the idea that she liked him. I always thought that, but the fact that she openly admitted it is utterly diabolical in my opinion. Just crazy. I did not see this coming, okay? So here's what happened, all right? She just went through a divorce about, I'd say a year ago. Mind you, the divorce was nasty. It was not an easy going one. This was one that had been going on for a while, and a lot happened and yada yada. So she moved back into town to be around friends and family, including my husband, okay? Like I said, they've been friends for a very long time. And I think she's really blurred the lines here, because my husband, he is a very compassionate, kind, and sincere man, very understanding. One of the reasons why I married him. He's awesome. And I think she's confusing those traits that he has shown her for affection. Not an excuse though, in my opinion. He's literally married. Now, ever since she moved back into town, she has been texting my husband, calling my husband at weird hours, like it'll be 2 or 3 in the morning, and she's texting and calling him, sending him random Tik Toks and things like that. And it's just like, have maybe a little bit more respect for our relationship, our marriage, you know? Like that's just rude. I would never do that to somebody else's husband. Okay. So he made like a boundary with her. He said, do not text or call or anything after 10:30. If it is any time after that, I will not be answering, because that's my time with my wife. All right. And then he also said that on our date nights, Wednesdays and Sundays, which is always a date night for us, don't contact me. You know, that's my time with my wife. All right. Does she respect that? No. So my husband and I, we went out for a date night the other night. We went to the bar, had some drinks, had some really delicious food, okay, had ourselves a good old time, and then we popped some spicy cubes and we were heading home for the night. We hit traffic on the way home, so let's just say that those spicy cubes were hitting and we were feeling extra bothered, okay? Catching my drift. We pull into our driveway and we're ready to go in the house and have a good time because we hit that traffic and it was already cutting into our time. We only have like 2 or 3 hours to really get going. Guess whose car was in our driveway? Yeah, her car was in my driveway. Why? Her hinge date set her up. Mind you, she made it sound like it was an emergency, like something crazy had happened. She's grabbing my husband's arm, getting out of her car, freaking out, going, I've been trying to call you guys for hours. Where have you been? Blah, 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 blah. And like, we're like, what is wrong? Like, what happened? My hinge date set me up. What does that have to do with my husband? Why are you in my driveway at this time of night? This is crazy. It's like past midnight. What are you doing here? So my husband just tells her our business and he was like, listen, like we took a few spicy cubes. We're feeling bothered. We're trying to get into our house. Like this is going to have to wait until tomorrow. Like I'll call you or whatever and we can talk about it then. But like you need to leave, okay? She looked me dead in the eyes and she goes, you make him take those with you? A real woman wouldn't make him take those to be with her. Excuse me? What do you know about being a real woman, honey? So my husband, he steps in and he goes, you're not going to talk to my wife like that. Like you need to leave. Bye. That wasn't enough for me. No. That was not enough because she has disrespected me on so many occasions and I've let it fly. And I was like, you know what? I've had it. I'm done. You're not going to smeg shame me now too. So I was like, well, maybe if you took some spicy cubes, you'd actually understand a little bit and you'd actually have a little fun. Your hinge dates wouldn't stand you up and you could actually get a second date. Maybe you'd still be married even. She didn't take that well. No, not at all. Instead, she retaliated by running out of our house and telling everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean she called his parents, my husband's parents, my in-laws, telling them how I am some psycho, crazy, evil woman, how I shamed her, like totally victimized herself and changed the narrative. Like talk about the fact that you just smeg shamed me and now you're gonna go victimize yourself. Play the victim card. Really? Then that night at 3 a.m. ding, my husband's phone dings and I'm like, I wonder who that is. Yeah, she literally texted my husband saying how she has all these feelings for him, she's in love with him, he's the one that got away. Mind you, they never even dated. They've never been together. They've only been friends. And then goes on to say that the only reason they can't be together is because of me. Like I'm holding them apart. I'm the reason they can't be together. I'm in the way of it. So I told my husband, obviously you can't be friends with her anymore. Obviously, like there's no other option here. Like you literally, clearly cannot be friends with her anymore. Gotta cut that shit off. So he does that. He literally tells her like, sorry, I'm not, like this is over. Whatever this friendship was, you've crossed the line. You disrespected my wife and my marriage and yada yada, like this isn't gonna work. She comes back and calls him and goes, I didn't mean any of it. I worded it wrong. I didn't mean it like that. I'm so sorry. Like that sounded wrong. It came out wrong. What do you mean you worded it wrong? Like you literally said he's the one that got away and I'm the reason you guys can't be together and blah 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 blah. Like that's out there. That's in the world. It's literally not a text, mind you. You don't get to just take that back, right? Like you don't get to just take that back and then suddenly everything's fine and dandy. No, not at all.
So I used to be friends with this girl, let's call her Bianca. Bianca used to love sleeping with all the girls in our friend group's boyfriends, and I don't know why. Well, Bianca, I was friends with her first. I was friends with her in elementary school, and I just was still friends with her, I guess. But when I first had my boyfriend in high school, my first ever real relationship, not like some like high school boyfriend, like we date and we don't see each other outside of high school. No, like my first actual real boyfriend. She used to call him ugly all the time. She always be like, oh, he's so ugly, blah, blah, blah. He had like pimples at the time, I don't know. But he was my little boo thing. He was kind of a thought at the time. And I guess he already had her on Snapchat, whatever. I was so stupid and innocent at the time. Like, I just didn't think, but why would I think my friend would try to pursue my man? So one day, this guy's at my house, right? And he tells me, he's like, listen, Bianca's been messaging me on Snapchat. Like, we snap back and forth. And I'm still not thinking like, okay, why are you messaging her? Why did you not delete her? Like, that's weird, right? I just am in my little head thinking, oh, they're just friends, whatever. Like, you know? So he tells me that Bianca sent him a nude of herself. It was by accident. And then she ended up telling me the same thing the next day because I texted her and I was like, hey, like, what's good with you? Like, why did you do that? And she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I love you so much. You know, I would not do that on purpose. I'm like 15 at the time, guys. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, you're fine. So I ended up forgiving her. Everything's cool. Me and this guy at the time, let's call him Michael. Me and Michael are on and off at the time. Actually, we were on and off like the whole relationship. We take a break, and on one of those breaks, which was like the summertime, mind you, my parents were so strict, so I barely saw this man like outside of the house because my parents were just really strict like that. So Bianca's parents would let her do whatever she wanted, like at 15, like she was always outside. And one time specifically, they went to the beach. So Michael and Bianca went to the beach. And they went with this other girl that, like, I wasn't really friends with like that, but she was part of this big friend group we had. Michael would always try to win his way back into my life, right? And he told me, listen, the time we were off, me and Bianca and that other girl that you're kind of friends with, we all went to the beach and they started talking mad, you know, really bad about you. So I was like, oh, okay, wow. So I confront her and I texted her and I was like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, it's not like that. He's a liar. It wasn't even like that at all, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm not really friends with this girl at the time as much anymore because she became really close friends with that other girl that I'm not really friends with. And so after that, this is when Bianca started really going for all these girls' boyfriends. So I used to be best friends with this one girl. And she ended up telling me that this girl, Bianca, was texting this guy that she was getting to know. And Bianca knew about it. So this girl was like really upset about it. You know, my best friend at the time. And I just felt so bad for her because I'm just like, what is this girl's problem? Like, she's so weird. And I think she ended up confronting her. I'm not really sure what happened after that. But after that happened, Bianca ended up doing the same thing to this other girl we were really close with in the friend group. Except her man. So the other girl I was friends with, they were all like at a hotel one night. And I guess that girl, her man, and Bianca were all, you know, really drunk out of their minds. And Bianca ended up sleeping with this girl's man. And the girl, my friend at the time, told me that apparently she heard everything, but she was too drunk out of her mind to do anything. So she heard Bianca in the room next door getting it on with her man. So this girl, Bianca, she's on one, right? I'm not even friends with this girl no more at this point because I'm just like, oh, hell no. Like, why does this girl still even have friends? Like, this is crazy. Like, there must be some weird fetish going on here that she wants to, you know, be with all these girls' boyfriends. So the girl ends up confronting her the next day, my friend. She ends up confronting Bianca and she's like, what, like, why did you do that? And Bianca started crying and giving her the same story and was like, I was so belligerent out of my mind. So at this point, I'm like, oh my God, like, this girl is going to end up messing with the wrong person one day and really get it handed to her. And that's exactly what happened. Bianca ended up becoming in a relationship with someone, and this specific someone ended up cheating on her. with this other girl that I went to school with. And Bianca ended up getting her ass beat by this girl, because this girl and Bianca's boyfriend were, you know, sleeping with each other. So that same girl, the other girl who was sleeping with Bianca's boyfriend, went to Bianca's house, knocked on her door, and started fighting her. I didn't feel bad, let's say the least, because I thought Bianca just deserved it after a while. Apparently she told this other girl that we knew that she had a fetish, or she really liked, I guess, messing with girls' boyfriends because it made her feel secure about herself. Like the thought of her being able to get someone else's man, which is just so weird to me. Ladies, if you actually really feel like that, please go seek like therapy or something, because these men will mess with anything. So if you have to get your validation from a man, I think you have other things to worry about in your life, to be honest. I'm so sorry, guys. I had to like finish the rest of my makeup off camera because I don't know how people even tell stories and do their makeup the entire time like that. But I'm no longer friends with Bianca. I think she's like in a really long lasting relationship now. She has absolutely no friends. And yeah, so karma really did catch up to her, because even when she was making new friends, they would just fall out. So yeah, guys, that's what happens when you want to pick men over your own friendships. And this is the finished look, guys.
Guys, I've been unintentionally gatekeeping this story, and now it's time. About a month ago, I went on a first date with a man I had met on Hinge. We'd been talking for like almost a month before we went on this first date. On our first date, he told me he had been separated for 2 years and divorced for 2 months, which felt a little quick to me. Yeah. I shared with him that I had been recently love bombed and that I was like really trying to slow things down on the dating front and take things really slow because I learned my lesson. Right after the first date, next day, he immediately asked me on a second date. I'm like, no, don't want to move too quickly. Ask me on a date for the next day. No, don't want to move too quickly. Tuesday comes around. He's like, do you want to go on a date tomorrow? Meaning Wednesday. I was like, look at you planning in advance. Let's do it. I said yes to Wednesday. I had plans that Tuesday night to go over to a friend's house for a going away party. And he texted me and was like, hey, I can't wait until tomorrow to see you. Do you want to just grab quick drinks before your going away party? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So we go out to drinks at this awesome spot in DC. And while we're sitting there, we're having normal conversation. And I'm joking about the fact that he is 36 because I always find myself dating people in the age range 34 to 36. It's just like my sweet spot. And he's like, well, actually, I have to tell you something. I'm actually 39. My age is wrong on my Hinge. And I was like, do you think I'm stupid? If you got divorced 2 months ago and that's when you made your Hinge, you were lying. If you made it back when you were 36, you were cheating on your wife. So what? Also, I'm pretty sure your Hinge updates every year, like as you get older. Like I'm pretty sure it changes by itself. So I was like, what the fuck? That's so weird of you. I literally demanded he show me his physical ID because I thought that was so weird. And I was really creeped out. And honestly, I should have been out then. So I see his ID, he's actually 39, and I say to him, this is so weird of you. There's no good time when you're dating girls on Hinge to tell them that you're not the age you put on your profile. Like, you could tell them in that first message, or you could tell them, like, when on your wedding day, and no matter what, that's fucking weird of you. Like, that's never gonna be a normal conversation that girls are just okay with. Like, just make it your regular age. Obviously, you're trying to show up on Hinge for, like, young women who you can, whatever. Anyway, so we finish drinks, we kiss, it's a good time. He goes home. I go to my friend's going away party and I pose a question to the group. I'm like, hey, he lied to me about his age. It feels kind of sus. What does everyone think? My best friend, who was right, is like, get out of that situation. That is freaky, girl. But all my other friends at the party were kind of like, oh, you're just collecting data. Like, that's a first data point. Like, yes, that's concerning, but why don't you collect more data and see how you feel about the guy? Because at the time, I really liked him. We had great chemistry. He was super attractive. Like, we just vibed. But also, like, maybe part of that vibe and part of why that was exciting is because I could sense, like, something was off, or, like, we had that chemistry because, like, there was that excitement and spark. But, like, a lot of the time, like, good, healthy relationships start, like, more of a slow burn or, like, with a friendship. Like, I should have known that that spark was indicative of, like, there's something wrong here. So now it's Wednesday. It's time for our pre-planned date. And the
first 2 dates he had come into DC for me. He lives in Maryland. So I said, hey, I'd be happy to come out to Maryland for you. I feel badly that you're always coming to DC. And he was like, well, you don't have a car. And I was like, I have a Metro card. And have you ever heard of that Uber? Or do 36-year-olds not know about Uber? He was like, oh, I have a surprise for you. Be ready at 7. Me, having watched every fucking rom-com, was like, this is so cute and romantic. I'm so excited. Dumb, dumb, dumb. So he comes, he picks me up in his car. I'm like, wow, this is like a real date. He's picking me up, he's driving me to the place, and it's all a surprise. I don't even know where we're going. He takes me to this restaurant in DC called Mercy Me. Food was incredible. And I'm like, thank you so much for dinner. Like, was this a surprise? And he's like, no, I have one more surprise. This man proceeds to say, oh, I have to work in Arlington tomorrow. So I decided to spend the night in DC so I don't have to schlep all the way from Maryland to Arlington for work at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Spending the night in DC, got a hotel room. But what he didn't do was ask me to stay over with him. Like, he's that good. Like, he didn't ever explicitly ask that. He made me think it was my decision. So dinner ends, we like go to a bar, we grab a couple of drinks. I'm not even drinking. I'm literally like dead sober and I made these decisions. But we walk out of the restaurant, he's like, do you want me to drive you home or do you want to come up to my hotel room? And I was like, I could use a hotel room tour. I go, hotel room tour, one thing leads to another. Take that as you will. Probably wasn't my best call. Anyway, I wake up in the morning at my own house. I'm on a high. I'm like, last night was so amazing. He's texting me. I'm like, we're getting married. But then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking really hard about it. And where he lives in Maryland is like 30 minutes from me. And Arlington is like 20 minutes from me. And I don't understand logically why someone would get a hotel in the city to not have to drive an extra 20 minutes in the morning. Something's not adding up. My spidey senses, something was wrong. My gut, women's intuition, something was off. I start thinking, I offered to come to his. He lives in his own house. I, live in a house with 3 roommates. The only reason I wouldn't want someone to come to my house would be if I was still living with my wife. So that activates the crazy in me. And I go to the internet and I pay for a background check, $25. Highly recommend doing that. Honestly, do it before your first dates. I should have done it way, way back. And I find every single thing about this man, right? Like his entire family, every address he's lived in since his college dorm, every traffic citation he's ever gotten, every piece of dirt on this man. And you know what isn't there? Divorce papers. So I start freaking out. I'm like, why are there no divorce papers? Could they be sealed? Like, are divorce papers even public record? I've never been divorced. I call the Maryland County court system and I ask them, hi, do you have any divorce records under his name and his wife's maiden name? They don't have any. I say, can you tell me if there's a sealed record under either of their names? They say, yes, we can tell you if there's a record, but we can't tell you what's in it. I said, awesome. Do you have records under either of these names? No records in the state of Maryland. I contact my family friend who's a lawyer. I say, hey, do you have to get divorced in the state where you're living? And they said, yeah, you have to get divorced in the state where either you or your partner is living. And I had both their names on the lease of their home address from my background check. I knew they both lived in the state of Maryland since 2012. If they had gotten a divorce, it would be in the Maryland court system. So I'm realizing this man is married. So what do? I go on Facebook and I post in the Are We Dating the Same Guy DC Facebook group. I say, hey, this is Danny. And I include a picture of him. I say, he lied about me to his age. Something feels sus. I tell the whole hotel story and ask anyone if they know anything. Within an hour, my post is blown up. Hundreds of women commenting how sus the hotel thing is and that it's happened to them before. He's definitely married and cheating. A couple hours later, a comment comes in. Hi, I'm the wife. Call me. I'm so sorry to do this, but I have to do a part 2. Come to part 2 to find out what the wife says.
Story time. This is a nightmare Tinder date. I was talking to this guy named Derek and we had been talking for like a month, FaceTiming for hours. I really liked him. He really liked me. He lived about an hour away, but then we were like, okay, like I think it's time for us to meet in person. And so we agreed that we were going to meet at a restaurant in the middle. Well, as I'm driving there, he said that his grandma had fallen and he doesn't feel right about leaving her. And he also said that like his grandma lived with him, but that it was like his house and he owned it and blah, 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 whatever. That don't matter. And so I thought about saying like, well, let's just reschedule. And he was like, no, I don't want to reschedule. I feel really bad. Can you just come to my place and I'll cook you like a really nice fancy dinner? Like, please, I was really excited to see you. I should have said no, but I said yes. I get there and this literally looks like the worst neighborhood in the worst part of town. and I am now, I want to just drive away. But he sees me from his porch and he's like, so I was like, great, now I can't drive away. So I go in and he ordered takeout. He ordered Chili's to go. Okay, I thought you were cooking me dinner, but whatever. So now we're eating and we're talking and I'm just feeling very uncomfortable. The house stinks. This was not the plan. You were supposed to meet me. And then I see it. He has a ankle monitor on and he sees that I see it and he tries to like move his leg back so I can't see it. But then he was like, oh, you're probably wondering what that's about. And I'm like, and he's like, my ex lied about a bunch of stuff and I'm on house arrest. And I was like, oh, okay, how long are you on house arrest for? And he said another 8 months. How long have you been on house arrest? Also, you must have done something like significantly wrong to get it on that long. But I'm like, okay. Now I'm just very nervous. Now I want to leave. Now I'm like, what have I got myself into? So then we hear banging on the door. And it is a woman yelling, Derek, get out here, Derek. Whose car is that outside? Whose car is that? I know you got some bitch in there. Oh my God. And I was like, do you have a girlfriend? And he was like, no. He was like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm gonna make her leave. He opens up the door talking about, oh, I'm gonna have Allie beat your ass. Me? I'm not beating anyone's ass. And then she was like, well, tell her come out then. He was like, yeah, she right in here. What? So then she's like stepping in the doorway. He's not letting her inside. But she was like, oh, come out then. And I'm like, I'm leaving. I was like, I have no idea. I don't know nothing about this. I have no part in this. I was like, girl, he's yours. You can have him. I don't want nothing to do with him. And now he's looking at me and he was like, wow, really? After everything we've been through? What have we been through? I'm leaving. Like, I deleted all the apps. It took me a while to get back out there.
Stay with me while I tell you about how I just found out that I got cheated on my entire relationship. I added my ex's friend on Snapchat because I was trying to figure something out. I'm not going to get into that story, but I was like, yeah, before he went to jail, I caught him cheating. And I'm just going to make up a name because I don't want to like throw anyone under the bus. Anyways, and he was like, oh yeah, he cheated on you with Ari. You figured that out. How'd you figure that out? It actually wasn't Ari. It was 3 other girls. Didn't know about that one, guys. Anyways, so I decided to call one of his like girl best friends. I don't really know. And she was like, wait, why do you care? Like, you're not with him. And I said, we've been dating for so long. Guys, I'm sorry, this is confusing. Basically, everyone knew that she was with him, but nobody knew that he was with me. Does that make sense? And he had a girlfriend our whole relationship. I'm in fucking shock. Like, we're not, like, he just recently broke up with me because he can't be in a relationship in jail. Whatever. I don't fucking, whatever. But, that's besides the point. But bro had a girlfriend the whole time. And from what everyone's saying, I was the side bitch because everyone knew except, like, our friend group. Like, including my sister, her boyfriend, me, my boyfriend, my guy best friend, Adrian, and, like, that, you know? Guys, it was, like, really bad last night. Like, I came home, I opened the door, and I was screaming and crying. And I was like, Mom, call Aunt Mandy, like, call my aunt. Because, like, my aunt is, like, one of my comfort people. Like, I love my mom and my aunt. And so my mom called her, and I was just screaming, what the fuck? I was just screaming, like, I should have never fucking got back with him. Like, it was bad, and then I was, like, crying for hours, and now I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? And he doesn't know that I know yet, but the next time he calls me, I'm gonna say, excuse me, listen to me. I'm gonna say everything that I know, and I would be like, fuck you, never fucking talk to me again, and I'm pressing that hang up button, and I'm never speaking to him again. Oh, and I'm gonna let him sit in there and think about that shit. I'm gonna let him sit in jail and do nothing but think and think and think about it.
I'm not answering him. I don't care. I think he still has like 5 more months. I don't care. I'm not calling him on Christmas. I'm not calling him on New Year's. He can sit in there and think about that. Matter of fact, he can call her. I wonder if he has been calling her in there, because he would always like talk to me for like a couple of minutes, and then he would like hang up, and he would say that he's on the phone all day, but with who? And he always said that he was on the phone with his sister all day, but like, I don't think that's true. Anyways, guys, again, I apologize for not being active. Hopefully y'all didn't think I was dead, but no, bitches, I'm back. I'm back better than ever. And matter of fact, I don't even know, guys. I'm in shock. Like, what is my life? Like, guys, I Ubered him. I like went on a trip and I was like, oh my God, I really wish he was here. I Ubered him for like $170 just so that I could be with him the whole time he had another girlfriend. I'm sorry if this story time is like kind of confusing, guys. Like, it's hard to explain. Unless if you know everyone, it's hard to explain. And I don't feel like doing like that fake name because I'm going to get like mixed up. But just know my whole entire relationship, there was another girlfriend. And apparently I was the side bitch. That's the first. That's definitely a first. Whatever. And the funniest thing is that his friends have been trying to like, not get with me, but like, you know, and I still respect him, you know, like but now I don't. Fuck that. My sister's boyfriend texted the guy who cheated on me, his cousin, and was like, does he have a girlfriend? And he goes, I don't know. Bitch, you know. Also, guys, keep in mind, this guy called me 2 years straight. Every day, begging to get back with me. He would call me every day, multiple times. He would beg my sister, please just talk to Megan. Please, please, please get her to get back with me. I'll do anything. Like, bro made Snapchat accounts, TikTok accounts. He showed up to my house multiple different times with flowers. He went so far to get me back. He finally did after 2 years. 2 years. And he pulls that. Also, ruined every single relationship I got into. Fought 2 of them. He just went the extra mile to ruin anything he could. Just to get me back. And then he does that. The story of my life, I take her home. Oh. Anyways, guys, I'm going to try to be active again. I'm very sorry that, like, I haven't been active. But me and my best friend have low-key been out in the streets again. Because we're, like, unbanned from seeing each other. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys for watching and listening to my tea. I hope everyone has a great day. I love you guys. Bye.
Oh, I miss my man.
Bro, oh my God.
I'm tired of this shit.
Who the fuck did I marry? Let me tell you about it. So in 2018, my freshman year of college, me and my now ex-husband, we knew like of each other. He was in the same frat that a lot of my friends were in, but we didn't really know each other until the following semester at the beginning of 2019. We started dating in April or May of that year, and then by September, I believe, of 2020, we were engaged. At that point, he had just graduated college and I had just dropped out of college. And to give you a point of reference for just like how young, I had just barely turned 20 the month before getting engaged, and he was, let's see, that would have made him like 22, I think, at the time. So we were very young, and we got married April of the following year. So it all happened pretty quickly. I mean, we went to school in Utah, so for Utah standards, it wasn't that quick, because from the time we started dating to the time we got married, it was about 2 years. But for the rest of the world, especially for how young we were, that's pretty fast. So right after getting married, we moved to Oahu for 6 months, and it was while we were there that he came to me and told me that he had decided he wanted to be a police officer. He said he wanted to be one in Denver. That's where the only place he was applying, because that's where my family was from, and he wanted to be close to my family. So November of 2021, we moved to Denver, into my parents' basement apartment. And he was going through the hiring process with the Denver police at that point. He started the academy March of 2022, graduated October of that year, and then he's been a police officer for them ever since. So he works night shifts, and I would get off at 2:30 in the morning. He told me explicitly every week that he rode with his buddy Fridays and Saturdays, and on Sundays and Mondays he rode by himself, like while on duty. So he would call me when I got off work and we would chat for a little while on my drive home, whatever. And Sundays and Mondays, it very much always seemed like he was by himself. I didn't think to question it. I had no reason not to trust him, so that's just what we rolled with. Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving of that year, we got home, we had been out drinking, and him and my brother went to go play video games, and I went to the bedroom where his Apple Watch was plugged in. Never before had I gone through his phone, gone through his watch, nothing. But for whatever reason this night, I just could not shake the feeling that I just needed to look at his watch. So I did, and I'm scrolling through the texts, and I click on one from an unsaved number, and there are hundreds of texts, some of which are on Sundays and Mondays being like, hey, should I grab the car for tonight? So these texts that are like, hey, should I grab the car or are you getting it? I was like, weird. Those came through on days that he said he was writing by himself, but whatever. I keep reading through, and he would work what's called off duty, which is essentially like businesses will hire the police officers when they're not on duty to go in their cars, in their uniforms, and like work concerts, work at bars. This in particular on Tuesday nights, he would work at an apartment complex. He would pretty much just sit in his car and just make sure nothing happened at the complex. And some of these texts were on those nights at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning being like, hey, where you at? I'm on my way. I'll be right there, whatever. Which I thought was weird that anyone was meeting up with him in the middle of the night, let alone while he's on off duty. So I call him into the room and I confront him about it. I'm essentially like, hey, who do you ride with on Sundays? And he's like, what? Nobody. I told you this. And I'm like, no, seriously, who do you ride with? And he continually denies it. And I said, okay, so if I look at your phone right now, I'm not going to see texts from someone about you riding with them. And he's like, no. So he gives me his phone. I look through. Sure enough, there's no text from this number on his phone. I even look at the recently deleted that my brother had told me how to find, and they weren't there either. So he had gone through as much trouble as to delete them and then delete them from the recently deleted so that they did not exist on his phone. What I guess he didn't think about was deleting them from his watch. So I tell him, I'm like, I saw them on your watch. You need to tell me right now, like, who are you riding with? Why did you feel the need to lie to me about it? So he ends up admitting that it's this female coworker who I had never met before. We obviously then get in a fight because I didn't understand the point of lying to me about it. And he was basically saying, well, he did say, I didn't think you would be comfortable with me riding with a female, so I didn't want to tell you. And my response was essentially, if there is something that you don't think I'm comfortable with, then why would you hide it from me instead of just not doing it? As far as their middle of the night meetups when he was working off duty, while she was on duty, mind you, he claimed they would just window up and shoot the shit. Now, because those were the only really like incriminating things in those texts, I let him gaslight the shit out of me essentially, and talk me into thinking that I was being crazy and there was absolutely nothing going on. This continued to present an issue in our relationship just because I didn't appreciate the dishonesty was the biggest thing, and I never got closure from it because anytime I tried to talk to him about it, he would just shut it down. He didn't want to talk about it. So because I never really got closure from the whole thing, anytime we would get into a disagreement, it would end up circling around to that, if that makes sense. It would somehow always come back up. In my opinion, if you have a relationship that you don't feel comfortable sharing with your significant other, then it's probably not an appropriate relationship to have. That might just be me, but I mean, I wasn't comfortable with it. So because of that, I end up telling him that I'm not comfortable with him riding with her anymore. He then proceeds to go to her that night and tell her that he had been lying to his wife and deleting their text messages. And for that reason, they couldn't ride together anymore. Not only was I upset that he was being more straight up and honest with this random coworker than he had been with me, but I also just didn't feel like it was fair to put the blame on me. I also felt like if there had really been nothing going on as he claimed, then that in itself was like opening the door for something to happen, because he was essentially telling her that their relationship was more important to him than our relationship was. And That's the way I perceived it at the time. And because this continued to be an issue, we ended up going to couples counseling. The second couples counselor that we found was awesome. He was great. We tried to go like every other week, depending on how our work schedules lined up. And things were about as good as they could have been in the relationship, with some other stuff that was going on behind the scenes. It was about as good as it could be for the next, I don't know, what would it be, 2 years or so? So this brings us to November of 2024. I saw a house on Zillow that I really liked, and we had been looking for a house, but living with my parents this whole time, trying to save up for one because they're really expensive in this area. And I sent it to him. We talked to a realtor friend, went to see it, and we ended up falling in love with it. So long story short, put an offer in, gets accepted. We close on this house on, I believe, December 30th of 2024. January 19th, 2025, I would start work at 4 a.m. He would get off work at 7 a.m. So we had a few hours in the morning that we would overlap, and we would text and chat and whatever. This particular day, we're texting, and he stops responding to me. And I check his location, and he's at a diner that he would go to with his buddies sometimes, a lot of times while he was on duty. It's just downtown. And so I text him, I'm like, okay. He's like, what? I was like, oh, you just stopped responding. He's like, oh, sorry, I was on a call. This, I guess, was just my breaking point. Because through the entire relationship, it was just pointless little lie after pointless little lie. And it made it so hard to trust, because if you can lie about these dumb little, like, insignificant things, then how do I know that you're being honest about anything else? This is stupid long, and I'm so sorry, but I'm going to do a part 2.
Okay, hello. These are all of the crazy things that my ex-boyfriend from high school said to me, and they were all lies. And they get progressively worse as we go on. Okay, so I was dating this guy in high school. I was a senior, and we met through a mutual friend. So we started dating, and I thought that he was 17, going to be 18 in a couple months. And I'm old for my grade anyway, so I was just like, whatever, like, he's younger for the grade, like, not that big of a deal. We were both in high school, like, we're both seniors. Come to find out, he was not 17, he was actually 16, and he was a junior and not a senior. And I didn't find out until, like, months into us dating. And his, like, parents were in on it, and, like, yeah. Another thing is, his mom would text me, and like, if me and him would get into an argument and be like, you're really upsetting him, like, he's really upset, like, he was crying in his room, like, please don't text him, like, please don't reach out to him, like, all this stuff. It was him on a burner phone, like, texting me and being like, my mom. And I figured it out because I went to his house one time, and I saw it in his drawer, and there was a text from me. So, obviously, like, that's not your mom's phone in your drawer. Something else that happened, because he was literally 16, he didn't have his license, and I remember being like, why don't you have your license? And he was like, oh, like, I just haven't been able to pass it, and, like, whatever, like, there was just, like, little things that, like, he couldn't get his license, but he told me that it was because, like, he couldn't, like, he was nervous and, like, all that bullshit. Actually, no, it was his license. I was like, was it his permit? Maybe it was, no, I'm pretty sure it was it was his license. Yeah, no, it was his license. Something else is, he told me, so I have 3 sets of grandparents, and he told me that he did too, which I was like, that's weird, like, and he, like, went, like, just whatever, lied about, that was a lie, I think, I don't even know, but he told me that, like, all of his grandparents were dead, and, like, how, like, devastating, like, boo-hoo, poor him, like, anyways, and I was like, damn, like, sorry, felt bad, and, cause, like, I had lost one of my grandparents, and he was like, oh, yeah, like, I lost all of mine. Come to find out, but then, like, there was inconsistencies, so, like, he would be like, oh, like, I'm going to visit my grandma, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I thought she was dead. And then he was like, what? No, my grandfather, and he would, like, just BS me. And then he told me, like, one time that his grandmother was, like, really sick, and then I would Snapchat his cousin, and his cousin Snapchatted me with the grandmother, and the grandmother was not sick, she was literally fine. And then one time, me, him, and his little sister went sledding together, and we were driving, and someone passed us, and she was like, oh, like, that was, like, our grandparents. And I was like, your grandparents? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, he told me he didn't have a single grandfather alive. What do you mean that's, like, friggin' grampy right there? Like, what? And I, like, turned to him, and he was like, there was just a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? People are dead, and you're just lying about it. He told, so his family was, like, looking into getting a dog, and then he was like, we're looking at getting a dog, and, like, I want to get a dog with you, and, like, I know that I sound stupid, but, like, I genuinely believed him. So he's like, oh, yeah, like, we're gonna get a dog, like, help us, like, I want you to, like, pick out a dog, and, like, we can, like, look into it, and, like, all that stuff. My naive, stupid ass was like, okay, like, because, like, why would you lie about that? Like, he was lying. It was not true. And then it was a house. He was like, oh, like, because I'm going to college soon. Like, I didn't know this meant. Because I'm going to college soon, my dad wants me to get a house and, like, be able to do this and that, whatever. And he's like, my dad's going to help, like, pay half. Like, I want us to, like, be able to get a house together. Like, I don't want to live with my parents anymore. It's, like, all this stuff. Obviously, I don't know why I believed him, but I did. And I would, like, sit there and, like, scroll through whatever app it was, and my phone would be, like, burning up because it was, like, I need to find this kid a house to live in for me and him. Yeah, that was never true. He was like, oh, our budget's $600K. My dad's gonna pay half. I have, like, all my savings. I didn't know how that shit worked. I was just like, okay. He told me that he was going to Harvard, that he got accepted to go to Harvard, and that he had to do another year of high school. Because they wanted him to be, like, extra ready. And then I found out that he wasn't a senior in high school. Oh my god, it was so good. I can't get over that. Actually, that one's so funny. But yeah, he said that he had, like, a full ride to Harvard, but, like, they needed him to, like, do this stuff. He didn't go to Harvard. He never had anything from Harvard. Like, he was just lying. Like, and also, like, you don't get, like, I was getting stuff from schools, and, like, he was getting, like, it was always, like, he had to, like, one-up me and, like, be better than me, but all of the stuff that he was saying was lies. This is, like, the craziest one. So, one of my family members, passed away from suicide, in December of, like, when we started dating, or when we were dating, and that was, like, the 18th of December, and that was, like, super hard. Obviously, it's super hard for anyone. My family was devastated. We're going through it. I'm emotional, trying to figure out life, like, very confused, like, not understanding it. And I'm like talking to him because he's my boyfriend, and I'm like trying to get him to see how upset I am. Like, trying to have someone to talk to about it, and just like kind of like venting to him, like, obviously being upset and like needing someone to talk to. And anyways, then a few days later, he would always talk about, like, this friend that he had, like, his name was Jared, who had some form of disability where his legs didn't work, and he was in a wheelchair. It's not funny, but it's so funny. And he, like, said that, like, oh, like, this happened, that happened. It was just, like, always, like, giggles and, like, little jokes. Like, I never saw what he looked like. I never saw a picture or video, like, anything like that. But he would just constantly talk about this kid, Jared. And I was like, oh, like, this kid's different, and, like, you're, like, accepting of him, and, like, whatever. And super nice, like, anyways. He, like, always talked about how smart he was, and, like, all this stuff. And I was just like, that's awesome. But he was wheelchair bound, and his legs, like, didn't work. I don't remember what he said it was, but his legs didn't work, and he, like, always was, like, in the hospital and, like, getting stuff done or whatever. So one day he was like after my family member passed, he was like, oh, like, something happened to Jared. He fell down the stairs, or, like, fell out of his wheelchair, and he hurt his back. And I was like, wow, like, that's awful. Like, he's like, yeah, he's in the hospital. Like, they're not, like, he should be fine, but, like, whatever. And then, like, 2 days later, he's like, hey, like, I can't hang out today. Jared passed away. And I was like, what? Like, they're like, yeah, like, there was some complication, like, the way that it hit his back, like, like, it messed up, whatever, and, like, he passed, like, in his sleep, like, or something like that. And I was like, holy shit, like, that's insane. Like, I felt awful. I'm going through my own stuff, like, trying to cope, like, and, like, figure out my family's stuff, and then he has this going on, and I just feel awful, because I'm, like, trying to be there for him, and, like, be supportive, and, like, I offer, like, support, and, like, oh, if you want to, like, talk, or, like, hang out, or, like, anything. And he's like, I just need space, like, think me and my friends are gonna like hang out and like just kind of reminisce and like whatever. And I was like, okay, like whatever you need, like take your time. Like obviously I wanted to be the one to help him, but if I'm not the one to help him, I go do whatever is gonna be best for you. Then he's like, all right, we're gonna go to dinner. And I was like, okay. So I like wasn't on my phone, and then I checked my like his location. This man was at Hooters with all of his friends. When I tell you I freaked the fuck out, I was like, why are you at Hooters? He was like, well, I didn't pick it. And I was like, your friend just died and you go to Hooters? They were like, well, they have good wings. I remember him saying that, actually. He was like, the wings are just like really good. I was like, it's not about the wings. It's never been about the wings. Like, pathetic. So I'm all annoyed about that because like you're going to Hooters, like that's crazy. We break up for God, I don't even remember. There's so many other stories that I could tell. And a couple months later, I remember having like a mutual friend that went to high school with him. That wasn't friends with him, but went to high school with him. And I like randomly called him one day and I was like, hey, do you remember the Jared, the kid in the wheelchair, like blah, 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 who started with like my ex and like going on and on. And my friend was like, what? And I was like, yeah, like my ex told me about him and like all this stuff and how he died. And like, do you remember that? And he was like, Mel, what are you talking about? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he made that up. That's not true. Like nothing like that even close to happened to like at all. And I was like, oh, like I was grieving. Like I was like going through absolute hell trying to figure out like my family, like and all this. And he made up a lie that his best friend died. Like, and I wonder like why I have so many trust issues.
I just found out my boyfriend cheated on me. So let's go through what would have been his birthday basket.
Wanted to start this video off by saying happy birthday. I hope he sees this, I really do. First thing I got him were these customized sliders of me, so cute, right? And on the back, it is a heart picture of the two of us. Next thing I got him, he loves Marvel and loves like Spider-Man specifically, so I got him these PSD boxers of like Spider-Man and Venom. It's so cute. Returning. The main thing he wanted was a jersey. He like loves Jax, so obviously got him a Travis Hunt jersey. Travis Hunter? I bet. I don't know why I keep doing that. Travis Hunter jersey. Yeah, he plays for Jaguars. That was cute. Returning. Next, I got him not a whole bunch, a couple of candies. He loves sour stuff. So I got him, and he loves Mike and Ike's. So I got him these. He also loves these. Luckily, so do I. And I'll probably eat them tomorrow on his birthday. Never had these before. I don't know, I thought they looked kind of good. Oh yeah, also got him these, the Fierce Grape Gatorades, because he loves those so much. Happy birthday to amazing you. In a universe of infinite possibilities, I'm so glad that you happened. Yeah, that's, oh, I forgot. I got him these, like, decorations that I was gonna put up in his room. I'm not doing that anymore, obviously. So, yeah. Hopefully I'll be, you know, a little richer when I return this stuff. Wanted to wait until his birthday to post this, so, yeah.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna do the trend where I say a list of things my ex-boyfriend did and I still stayed. Backstory, we dated for 2 years and we lived together. Okay, starting off strong, he told me that he thought I had no life. He thought that I was an NPC. He said my life was not important, and he told me to myself all the time. Okay, and then just like going along with that, whenever we did break up, obviously we lived together, so one of us had to move out. He literally was like, oh, I just assumed you're moving out. Like, I think you need to go home and like get help. Mind you, literally all the furniture in here is mine. Like, the only thing he took when he moved out was like the desk, because that was the only thing he contributed to our apartment. But trust, I made him move out, and then he was homeless for like a week, but he found a place, I think. I don't know. I don't talk to him. Okay, on multiple different occasions, he wrote out on paper with a pencil a list of all the things that he hated about me, front and back of the page, and gave it to me to read, and sat and watched me read it and bawl my eyes out. The first time he did that was after we had been dating for 2 months, by the way. Okay, one time I was driving us to go get food that I already ordered and paid for on the app, and I realized I needed gas, and I asked him if he would get out and pump my gas for me. Mind you, I didn't ask him to pay for it. I said, I'll give you my card, can you get out and just pump my gas for me? Like, physically just do it. I wasn't asking him to pay for it. And he screamed in my face and told me that was the stupidest thing he had ever heard, and told me he would absolutely not be doing that for me, and that it was stupid that I would ever ask him to do something like that. And then he told me that he doesn't even want the food that I bought for him, and that it was stupid that I bought it for him, and he doesn't even like that place after I already bought it. One time when we had been dating for like a week, he was like, I promise, when we're dating for 6 months, I'll get you a promise ring. And he would like send me videos about it. And then we had been dating for 6 months, and then he never got me a promise ring, and I was like, whatever. So then I waited until we had been dating for a year, and then I brought it up, and I was like, hey, like, I thought you were gonna give me a promise ring for our 6 months. And he was like, nah, I don't remember saying that. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I like low-key begged for it, because I was like, what the fuck? And then he was like, fine. So then he got me one, but then he would bring it up. So I got it for our 1 year, and then we dated for like basically exactly 2 years. And he brought it up for the entire second year of our relationship, like all the time, how it was so stupid that he bought me a promise ring and how it didn't mean anything to him. And then I was like, oh, like, I just won't wear it then if it doesn't mean anything to you. And he'd be like, no, but it means something to you, so you should really wear it. Mind you, I also bought him a really nice watch, and he never wore it, ever. Like, I think he wore it like 2 times. He would wake me up at like 4 a.m. to scream in my face and tell me that he couldn't sleep. And like, he would like go outside and like slam the door and be like, I can't sleep. And he wanted me to fix it. No. He would do this thing where anytime I would ask him to change, and when I say change, I mean like, I would ask him to like open the door for me, or like be nice to me. Like, not even the bare minimum, just the bare human being. And I would ask that of him, and he would say, you're so controlling. You're not gonna get everything you want. No other guy would do that for you. Let me know if you want a part 2. I'm sure I can think of so many more things. Okay, I was just watching this back before I actually post it, and I just want to say, he's been telling everyone that I'm crazy and manipulative and narcissistic and all the things, and deep down he knows that he was the problem, but obviously he's not going to tell people that, because why would he? He's a narcissist. So I'm just going to put in some screenshots of proof that he knows he was the problem, and also if he doesn't want me making this video or saying bad things about him, maybe he shouldn't have done bad things in the first place. Okay, and then also, if those screenshots are not proof enough, he also saw my last TikTok where I posted screenshots of him being mean to me, and he called me crying, saying that he's so sorry and that I didn't deserve that, and told me to delete it.